welcome to Wormhole Pinball Presents. Today I'm joined by David Yopp and Scott Woods of Flipside, Memphis. Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you for pushing it back. I had a quick appointment at 4, so thank you for pushing it back for me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for
thanks for
asking us to come on, Jamie.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, and a quick shout out to Glenn Walker, Wachter,
I think.
Yeah, for hooking us up. Glenn is a fan of both of our streams and the content, and he introduced us to each other. So thank you very much, Glenn. I really appreciate it.
And you may not remember it, Jamie, but I did meet you at Texas Pinball Festival.
Yes, you did. Yes,
I got to play your Big Bang Bar.
I remember actually very well. I was running around like a lunatic at Texas Pinball Festival because I don't normally man the booth. My wife and Tim's wife and Tim normally man the booth with John Spates. And I'm usually running back and forth to the TPF Classics and Wizards room. And I was taking a break from there, and I got to meet you, Scott. So I remember that vividly. So thank you.
Yeah, I was running around a lot between the tournament area and the show floor as much as I could.
It is a lot. And I was kind of
overwhelming.
It is overwhelming. I was kind of hoping now that the Twippies are canceled that we can get the Twippy room. Wouldn't that be great? It's like right there.
Yeah.
But maybe next year, maybe the 2025 initiative. So anyway, so Flipside Memphis is Memphis's first official pinball pub and restaurant. I listened to your podcast on Pinball Profile, David, and with Jeff, and I actually love that podcast. I remember when that first came out, only because he mentioned that he sat next to me, and he didn't even mention my name. He just said Wormhole Pinball, and I went bananas, and that was 2 years ago. I was so happy.
We're talking about Jeff Teolis.
Yeah, Jeff Teolis. Say Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff's a good guy.
I'm interviewing him next week.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So this Wormhole Pinball Presents, we kind of interview the interviewers, right? People that don't ever get to be interviewed themselves, and that's one of the things that I love to do. And so I'm pretty excited to be interviewing him next week. So I loved your opening story during that podcast, David, about how you started in COVID, and you were really lucky you didn't get that building, huh?
That's right. We were looking at a building that'd probably be maybe half a mile, 3/4 of a mile from here. And so, the whole time the guy told us he was getting the building ready, and somebody I knew happened to get the building next door to it. And he left the door open at one point, and the guy took a peek in, and he immediately called me. He said, "David, this guy's not doing anything. He's not." So I don't know why he's lying to you guys. And I guess what I didn't understand was, let's say he was milking us for cash for 6 months while he was saying that, but he never asked for a penny. It was just some sort of weird sociopathic thing that he did to us. But blessing in disguise, because then COVID hit and we would have been stuck with a building and no patrons. So, dodged a weird bullet.
Yeah, very, very similar story here, right? David and Scott, that was the Wormhole started as a bar. It was going to be a bar. And during COVID, they couldn't get a liquor license because the parking here is so atrocious. And because they couldn't get the liquor license, they decided to just open it up as a pinball club, and then COVID hit and we got really lucky. So we just opened it. It's just it's not really private. We're open 3 days a month for tournaments, but we are just a tournament and rental. That's what we do here.
Yeah.
We're not a bar and restaurant like you. What a beautiful setting. I watch your stream. I think it's just absolutely amazing what you guys do, and I'm a big fan of Flipside Memphis, and I can't wait to get up there. That's a 2025 initiative. I made a lot of promises.
I can as many streams and podcasts you've done. You probably promised about a dozen people you're going to come see them. You're going to be a busy man.
My wife is like, "Do you want me to leave you? Do you want it?" Because she doesn't like pinball.
So I do have a question about y'all's club.
Please.
Is it something that people join and then they can play on those 3 days, or is it open to the general public?
Yeah, it's just open to the public. We're a member of Space City Pinball, and we have IFPA tournaments 3 days a month, and anyone can come here. We have a max of 64 people because we only have 23 pins, but we pushed that once or twice and it's too many people. So I think we're going to lower that into the 50s.
Yeah.
Because it's just, we're a small building and only 23, but it is available for rent. We've had rock stars and a lot of different people rent this place, and it's been really great. So,
yeah. Well, and we are just holding steady in the 40s every week, and it's been that way.
Isn't that great?
For the most part of a year, wouldn't you say, Scott?
Pretty much for a year now. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a good group of people that we have. I can't say enough good things about the group of players that we have. We don't have, it's not super cliquish. We don't have a lot of hotheads.
Good.
You've got the one or two that some nights get a little,
Sure. Sure.
And by the way, we are an active bar right now, so you're probably going to hear pinball in the background.
No, it's
you're
great.
Going to hear people making noise.
Today is Tech Day, and so any minute these lights, about at 6 o'clock, these lights are going to pop on, and all the techs are coming. So we've got the state finals coming in 2 weeks, so we've got to make these machines sing.
No, I know. We're having states here, so
I know. So we're both in the same boat, right?
Yeah. Well, and actually, what we're doing tonight, and I'll let kind of Scott explain that to you. Super excited about it. Scott's idea. And so, Scott, I'll let you tell him what we're doing tonight.
Well, we wanted a practice tournament for the state championship, so we could learn how to stream it and how to operate it, and all the logistics that are different than a week-to-week tournament. And so we decided to have a tournament called the B Division Tournament of Champions. So every week, every Tuesday, when we have a tournament, we have what we call the B division, which are people who are generally ranked outside the top 2,000 of the IFPA. And once they get knocked out of the tournament, either in strikes or in qualifying, there's a second chance tournament that's free to enter. And we have a tremendous response for that, because we have what we would say 10 or 12 people who are hyper competitive and are trying to win this every week. And then we've got another 30 or so that have a great time to come out and socialize every week and want to have something to do besides just get knocked out after a few rounds. And so now we've got this B tournament, and we've had, 26 different winners after 52 tournaments last year.
Right.
So pretty good mix there. And we decided to have a tournament of champions. And so that gives us a chance to practice running a state championship, both on hosting it and streaming it.
Yeah.
And the B tournament, the B players get to play for some cash, and we got a plaque and some other prizes.
Yeah. Somebody will win the wrestling belt tonight. Somebody will win a plaque. I added 200 to, they're going to pay $5. But what Scott did, I thought that was brilliant, was, first of all, we're going to give them all kind of the same honors that the state players are going to get, as far as, the new graphics and their picture, and, you see what they're doing. But he shortened it for a weeknight by making it best of three.
No, best of five.
I'm sorry. I always say
3
that
out of
wrong.
5.
3 out of 5 for a race to 3 is what I meant to say.
Gotcha.
So it'll shorten the tournament, but they will all get to, feel like they're a part of this thing we have going on, having the state tournament here. And I've been looking forward to this as much as I have been looking forward to the state championship on the 20th.
Awesome. We're having the state championship here, and we're very fortunate that they awarded us, because Houston's got so many great places. So we're real happy that they chose us. And but we've got people coming from all over the place, so we're going to do a max match play the night before. Let them bang on machines. Not real serious. Take it easy, guys. We're just here so that if there's something wrong with Andromeda, then we can fix it and go from there. So,
right.
So talk me through this ridiculous amount of setup that you have. Do you have a server room in the back, Scott? Did you guys build?
It's not a server room.
Not exactly. No, just
we do
rack.
have a box on the wall. As a matter of fact,
it's a rack.
Yeah, we can kind of show you.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're joining us, normally I have a podcast where we do both audio and video. Today is only going to be video, because David and Scott, we are connected through not only Zoom, but our OBS streams. So we can both show different portions of the scenes we create. And look at this. This is amazing.
So what I'm going to do, we might as well, before showing you all the graphic stuff, I'm going to show you kind of where everything sits. Well, first of all, let's go. That's Elvis playing pinball behind that. We have all these famous people on the wall,
awesome.
Playing pinball, part of the motif. But so Scott kind of told me what to order, and that is there are a couple of SDI
AV Matrix.
Yeah, AV Matrix switches there, and then there's our networking, and then you can see the huge bundle of cables that comes out.
Oh my gosh.
And goes. So you've got 3 cameras there, and you can just you can keep following all that big mess of cables that goes. It starts thinning out as you get to the other side of the room.
So if you back up and explain that prior to streaming, you had a camera over the games for the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, let me back this out so you can kind of see. We already had all those TVs, and I've been doing that. Actually, I did that in its first iteration 7 years ago.
Awesome.
I had a little arcade in Millington, Tennessee, and I always liked the idea of having a gallery monitor so people wouldn't stand and look over your shoulder. So that allows us to do two things. First of all, you can put comfort mats down and basically say, if you're not playing, do not be on the comfort mat. So that gives the player the room, well, first of all, it's a comfort mat instead of standing on hard concrete all night.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
But we can sit back here and enjoy a beverage and watch the game up there. Right. And then the larger TV above that is for our leaderboard and it tells you what you're going to play next and all that. But anyway,
so that's been around since 2017.
2017, yeah. Thereabouts. And I just continued, like whenever I'd move, I would take all those TVs off the wall. And per machine, with the type of cameras I bought, that it ends up being about $350 a machine. So it's not terribly expensive to do that.
Right.
And it's just a live feed straight to the TV.
Okay, so what is this beautiful eye in the sky camera that you keep moving around? And
so this is a PTZ camera that this is the 50th camera, and we just added it. And what that does, so Scott sits over here to the left, right? And I just have a remote, you can kind of see here. And then I've got numbers programmed in that takes me to specific places in the room. So like if I want to go to us, let's see. I don't know. No,
so PTZ is pan, tilt, and zoom.
Yeah.
Movable camera.
Right.
Yeah.
So
you'll send me the model number of that, right?
Yeah, it's not even that expensive. You bought it a few $100.
And you can even see, so you can kind of see me there.
Yeah.
The bottom left.
Yeah.
But that allows us to, as a matter of fact, there was a time I couldn't get scores off of a camera, so I just zoomed right into it. I could pull the scores that way.
All you're going to hear from me is groans of jealousy, right? Groans of jealousy. Because, gentlemen, one of the greatest things about what you're doing is I'm going to try to rip off as much as possible because we are building a museum here.
Yeah.
Going to be about 125 pins. Now, I don't think I'm going to do 350 for each pin, but we're going to rip you off. So.
And here's the thing. I freely share any information I have on how I did this.
I do too.
And a rising tide raises all ships, right? So,
absolutely.
If it helps pinball as a community, then I'm 100% for that. Let's do that, right?
Yeah.
And if you build this rig and have the space for it, then you can move the machines out from under it. So if you've got 16 games that are under camera or 32, if you double this setup, then just move the games in as you need to. Yeah, this week's tournament or whatever.
Yeah, so I can quickly move. I can move a machine in and out from under and have it, out of my truck, in my truck in about an hour and a half. And so because I've been mixing the bank up now for state tournament. I don't know if you're dealing with this, but I have an IFPA state director that's got me busy with the machines that he wants in the bank.
He's going to be here tonight. Phil Grimaldi is our
well, good luck to you.
It's going to be our Jamie. He's going to be here tonight. And you know what? That's above my pay grade, David and Scott. So I am the ambassador for the Wormhole. And in technical, it's my little realm. I got my camera setups and everything. And then I move on.
Right.
So that's not, I'm going to be here tonight for support, emotional support.
I understand.
So as far as, I guess we're going to talk about building the streaming rig and what all it can do.
Yeah.
So we wanted to do streaming earlier this year and went to David and said, let's put together a streaming rig for the bar. And the next thing I know, David shows me this list of multi-$1,000 worth of equipment. And I thought it was to say, that's too expensive. We don't want to do that. And we were thinking, no, we just want a streaming rig like everybody else. And he says, no, that's what we're going to do. And this is what it's going to take. And I've got stuff ordered. It'll be here next week. And then the next thing I know, he's got it set up in his garage and we went from there.
So there's one part of this story that Scott skimmed over and or skipped altogether. They asked me for like a year and a half.
Okay.
We want to stream. I was like, look, I watch streams. There's 20 people watching them. I'm not going to build a rig for 20 people to watch it, right? That was what I was saying. But then when I decided I was going to do it, I didn't want to do a rig. I wanted to be able to, I already had the 16 cameras up. And I said, if I can just get 2 more cameras per machine and figure out a way to switch them. So that's where I kind of had to start. I had to start looking at ways to switch 48 cameras, right?
Yeah, so 3 on a game.
3 on a game, 16 games, 48 cameras. And then plus the booth cam is 49. And then the PTZ camera is 50. And I use just simple security cameras for, the gallery monitor.
Okay.
And they are really good quality. They're the 3G SDI cameras. And so they're 1080p, right? And I knew I didn't need that much for the back box. So I was able to just use a little bit cheaper, just an SDI camera.
Okay. That makes sense, right?
Yeah. And then the cameras that are facing the, can we just jump to one of the machines?
Yeah, so that's
I would love that.
Yeah.
Are able to, at the press of a button on the Stream Deck, switch to the game. So this has got the graphics from last night's tournament and some people on the bar that are playing the game tonight.
Right. So I'm going to bring up our Yoppsicle here. And then, so this is a security camera.
That's an IP camera.
Yeah, that's an IP camera. Obviously, this is a booth cam, and then this is the 3G SDI camera, and they all go through a pair of SDI switchers, 16 channel each one of them. And then, of course, this is just the SDI camera that has got a lower resolution, but it's even good enough for you to read these scores down here.
Yeah,
and that's what I needed.
Exactly.
So we had to make the cables ourselves, which was a bit of a nightmare because you have to cut the end of the cable and use all those type of tools that you see the Comcast guy use when he comes in. And I had never done any of that. So I ruined a lot of cables before we actually got 32 of them that were working. But we managed to do it. Go ahead, Scott.
Well, I was going to say, so this rig is over every game. So at the press of a button, we can switch to whatever other game. This one's not being played, but just that quickly.
Yep.
And so then, you don't have to. You guys aren't moving this rig, right?
No,
nothing
to move.
There's nothing to move. As a matter of fact, and I'll let Scott do it. He can show you everything.
So then we can build a scene that looks like this, which has all 48 cameras in operation at once.
Yep.
So this is a live look at every game.
That's incredible.
Yeah, 48 plus the booth. And if we wanted, we could, I guess we could add the PTZ camera at some point, make it the full 50.
But I'm a big NFL fan, and I watch the Red Zone every Sunday.
So
this is our double octo box, our all 16 cameras.
Yeah.
So we can show all 16 games at once. You can't really follow the game because it's too small, but it does make for a nice presentation.
It's just a really cool. Hey, look what we're doing.
Yeah.
And it's a really neat. It's just the Octobox. Nobody watches the Octobox on
No, but it's enough to start there and say, oh well, so now we're going to jump back into a game in progress, and press a button, and there we go.
Boom. And so on the upper left-hand corner, I see you using next that match play, that event's there.
Yes.
And what are you using a Windows capture for that?
This is just a browser source.
So that's just a browser source.
Right.
Okay.
So we've got 16 scenes, one for each game, and each scene has a browser source for that particular game. So we don't have to change anything.
How early do you have to get over there to set up?
It takes 5 minutes to set that part up.
That's it.
Now the computer can't stay here because we're on a tabletop that's actually used for serving food the rest of the week.
Right.
So that gets broken down at the end of each night that we're streaming.
Yeah, the computer probably takes me about 30 minutes to set up because what I did was run cables over to here that are they kind of terminate here. And I wrap those up and put them away. So there's 3 cables that come from the main box over there that I showed earlier. So you just have to, there's a couple of monitors I store up here. I throw those in. I throw my keyboard and everything is all wireless and portable. The Stream Deck, you plug it in. I've got a couple of more mics that we're not using right now that will go out here in the next 30 minutes. And those capture the general sounds over the pinball machines. I don't need to be directly over Foo Fighters when we're playing for Foo Fighters.
Right.
No.
Because it's so much cacophony of noise early on. So what you can do, and believe it or not, is as you get down to just 2 or 4 people left playing, those area mics will pick those machines up because they tend to be, they're the only ones being played at that point.
Right.
So it works out fine, just getting kind of the ambient noise early. And then, you know, if I wanted to, they're just magnetic. They're very, very, as a matter of fact, yeah, go to the booth. So this is how small the cameras are. You see it's just got a little magnet on it.
Okay.
So that, and then this, that's the transmitter. And this, that's the receiver. And you can even see as I speak there is how I'm pegging out that mic.
Yeah.
And these are not that expensive. You can buy these on Amazon and you get one receiver. And here's the nice part. So you can kind of spread these out over 2 portions of the room. You get 2 receivers. I'm sorry, 2 transmitters and 1 receiver. So you can see that you got 2 different levels as I speak.
Those are really lav mics that people would clip on there.
They're lav mics,
yeah.
and
so they would just put them right here,
and they plug in via USB, so it continues to charge the receiver for you.
So we just clip those onto the camera rig and move it around as need be.
Yep, and they come in this nifty case that actually charges everything. So when you close it, it just charges. I know you want to steal that idea too.
No, I'm going to rip everything off.
Jamie's
no. I just think it's just amazing what you're doing, right? Because what you said is, okay, because I'm building the second rig, right? And I'll show you guys here.
Sure.
On the wormhole view. And here's the
nice graphic, by the way.
Here's the wormhole. And so what I have here is, and I'm totally addicted to Epic Pen. Do you guys use Epic Pen for your telestrator?
I've not heard of it.
No, we haven't. We actually need to. That's one thing on our to-do list is to build a good telestrator.
So that was one of the first things I had to get, Scott, was the telestrator so that I can do stuff like this. And
that is super cool.
Exactly.
And it really is. And this right here is our board of grievances that we put up. And everyone comes in, and we're looking for a Wendy's or a Jack in the Box head, if anybody knows any. And but this is the wormhole. We have 23 machines here now, and I need a few more cameras. And if I could put an eye in the sky, if you will, that would be fantastic. I would absolutely love that. So
yeah. Well, I will say, you know, there are. If you double the price of what I paid for our PTZ camera, you get this nice large joystick thing.
Or one that you can control through the computer.
Right. But I mean, it does take up a little bit of desktop space. But, you know, I want to say for this PTZ with just a simple IR remote was around $250. And it does plug in as USB, and it's seen as a video source in OBS. It's no problem with that. You don't need anything extra.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But you know, you get basically the same camera with with a joystick where you can zoom in much smoother, you know, because I don't really have any control over how quickly the camera moves.
Sure.
So if you wanted to make it a little smoother, you could do that and just spend a little more money. But what I feel like what I have, because we have so many other cameras, that's only 1/50th of what we're showing. Not a huge deal just to aim the remote and shoot.
Sure.
So how many pins are in your collection, and how often do you rotate?
I have. I hope my wife didn't watch this.
No, it's okay.
No. I have about 97 pins now. I just ordered the Jaws. I don't want to talk about that beyond the fact that I ordered it because that's gone crazy online.
Man, you hand people a bar of gold and they're going to complain it's too heavy. I can't.
I agree.
Go on pin side. I can't do any of that crap because negativity is just too much. So I just turn.
Same. There's just no reason to be that negative. I try to be a positive person, and I am most of the time. But I've got around 97 machines. Awesome. 16 is really. Could I fit more in this bar? Yes, but I wanted it to be a bar as well as a place to play pinball. So there's a good amount of room. Like if I go to the big room here, you can kind of see that there's a good amount of space between where we're sitting on the left hand side of that top left screen and the bottom right side. You can kind of see him raising his hands there. So there's plenty of room for the players to sit and watch the action, before they step up to the machine and play. And that's what we wanted.
You had 35 different machines here during last year.
Yeah, 35 machines. I'm sorry, I probably took way too long to answer that question. Scott's here to pick me up.
No worries. So 35 different machines, and then you rotate as much as you can through, and there are fan favorites that come back, and people go, "Oh my God, I missed Stranger Things so much. Thank you for bringing it back," or whatever the case may be.
And that's true.
It is.
People, when I bring a machine back, they're like, "Oh, it's about time you brought that back." I've been waiting for that machine to come back. So, absence makes the heart grow fonder.
It does. And 16 is a good sweet spot, right?
It is.
It is a good sweet spot. And are your games on free play? Are they quarters? Are they
tokens?
Tokens, great.
Yeah, I like to force people into my currency.
Sure.
So, if you walk out with the tokens, you're still stuck with my currency. So come back and spend it or keep it forever. And in the 2 years we've been open, I've kind of kept up with, I've ordered over 50,000 tokens and 35,000 of them disappeared and never come back.
Collector's items.
Yes.
I have.
I don't know where they went. They're not coming back.
They're not coming back. But they bought them, didn't
they? Yeah. If someone walks out with a token and never comes back, I make 8 cents.
Yeah. So weird question for you. We had someone that came and they asked during the stream or before the stream that not to be streamed. They didn't want their face. So what we did was I kind of went with, and I'll show you the vertical. I kind of took this camera here, and instead of putting it as a vertical, I just put a box over that, just to fool. And I've got some other ideas, maybe a pan it backwards. And the reason is they're from law enforcement, and they just didn't want their face on a stream.
Sure.
Have you run into that while someone's been streaming?
No, I have a poster on the front door when we're doing a stream saying you will be streamed. Okay. And if you can't be streamed, then you may not want to play pinball here. Now,
it's hard to hide from all of these cameras.
Yeah, there are. Right. I mean, there are so many cameras here. Even if I wasn't streaming the game you're on, you're going to be caught. You're going to be caught by eight or nine other cameras. So there's just no way that
with I can. Your coverage, I think that would be a very difficult.
Yeah. And say I apologize, but you're probably want to not play in our tournament or be here on our tournament night.
So do you find yourself, Scott, coming to him and going, we can push it. We can go to this many cameras, or we can do this many things. I mean, how many scenes do you have in OBS, for God's sakes?
Well, there's 16 one for each game, plus a few others that just have us, the booth camera and the front camera, and
then
got one that shows
the giant.
Yeah, we've got one that shows standings and that sort of thing. So about that, I've built a few for the state championship, which we're not really.
We have the super selector.
Oh, well, that's just a little animation.
Yeah, that's just an animation, not really a scene. But yeah, we do have a.
And then we do some for promos. I like the software side of it. I don't know that we need any more cameras to cover what we do. I like the production value, trying to have better bumpers and better graphics and that sort of thing. So I've been working on that as we've grown and had more viewership. And I promoted the stream a little bit. I'm in the Stern Army now, and I posted it in our Facebook group a while back. And we've seen our numbers go up. We've had a lot of viewership over the last few weeks. So
that's fantastic.
Seem to like what we're doing.
Oh, absolutely. And we don't have enough Sterns here, and we're not open to the public. So Stern, because we're only open 3 days we're not going to be a Stern Army place. So we only have 2 Stern new Sterns in the building right now. It's the lowest amount of Sterns we've had. With
the 16, the exception of this last fall, I wanted to do an all classics fall. So we were down to just Foo Fighters?
Foo Fighters was the only modern.
Foo Fighters was the only modern we had in-house. But I consider anything a DMD or newer to really kind of be a modern. I mean, AC/DC Spider-Man, those are pretty modern games.
Sure.
They're not brand new Sterns, but we tend to split it 8 and 8. So you'll have 8 more on the modern side and then 8 on the classics up to, maybe the alphanumeric era.
Okay.
And I just try to keep it mixed out. And one of the things that Scott tries to do is, you can save time in a tournament, although it's much harder for us to do this now. But back when we
just have too many people.
We
can alternate new and old games, but when you've got so many people, you pretty much have to have everything in now.
Right. So if you did an old classics round, right, the round lasts 10 minutes, 12 minutes. Then you do a modern round, 15. You do a modern round, and you're going to double that because people get in the stern with all the ball saves and the close flippers, and it just makes the tournament run a lot longer. But we're kind of back to dealing with that because we have 45 people or 40 people every week, so we can't. Eight's not enough.
Great community, right? I mean, that's a really growing community, and
it really is.
What we're seeing with Dalton and these young kids winning at Indus. Is that the youth? Do you have a good youth movement there? Is my question. I mean,
when you say youth, you mean like 20s?
Yeah, 20s or earlier. Younger than us.
Oh yeah.
I would say we're having more
better players are that young.
Yeah, of course they are.
Tanner and Colton.
Their eyes work.
Your son. And
yeah. So a couple of my kids play, and I would say we probably have maybe 15%, 20% of our group is in their 20s. We have a good mix. We got people in their 30s, 40s, and then we got some old pinheads like myself.
Yeah,
right?
But that's great for our sport, if you will, right?
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think competitive pinball continues to grow and continues to get bigger. The thing that scares me about it getting big like this is the machines have to be out there and they have to play well, and keeping these machines running will burn you out. And I think historically we've seen it where places had a lot of pinball machines, and then one day you go in and half of them are gone or half of them are not working or what. So my job is to try to keep these machines running really well so that people keep coming back. And I think one of the reasons that we do have such a vibrant competitive community is because I've managed to not let it burn me out yet.
Good. Well, listen, technician, being that having great techs and doing that yourself is a lot of work, right? But all you need, if you're a pinball bar and your pinball machines don't work, you're not really a pinball bar, are you?
That's right. No, I say that all the time. If your pinball machines don't work, then you're just a bar.
And bars are great, but it's going to be really hard for league nights when nothing works on Stranger Things, right? I mean,
right. People would simply quit coming. I mean, they would.
That's what happened.
Yeah,
that's what would happen, right? And so that's what we have to do here in Houston is make sure our machines, especially when we're playing league, that they're great, that they work perfectly. And that's why we have tech nights on Wednesday, and we invite everybody to come in here and bust their butt tonight, hopefully.
Right.
That's what you need is a volunteer army to come in and shop your machines for you.
Just, it's one of those things. And I just,
they're your machines, right?
They are. And I know exactly what, though I know, and I'm very picky about my machines, and I know exactly what I want and what I don't want. And I could probably explain it to somebody. And since we've been here, I have had a couple people say, I really want to learn. And they come and open a couple of machines. And then I'm like, no, it's okay. Let me just do it. It makes me very nervous to have other people.
And that makes sense, Scott, right? Because he invented Yoppsicles. So when you're that technical and you have that technical ability and you're an owner operator and you have all these machines as a collector,
well, I mean, the Yoppsicle came out of pure frustration. And if you've ever restored a Bally machine, and I've restored a good number of them now, or Sterns, the sockets are awful. And I was just looking for a way out of that. And that's where the Yoppsicle came from. When I did it, I did not look at it as any kind of business adventure. I wasn't doing it to try to sell them and all that, but that's just kind of, Tommy Skinner, and I'm sure you probably know who Tommy is up in Indiana. I sent him some, and then he put them in, he loved them, and then he did a post on Pinside, and the rest of that's kind of, because I jokingly called them the Yoppsicle. I was not going to call them the Yoppsicle.
That was a prototype.
It was a prototype, and I was going to come up with something else, right? And he posted, and I said, I don't know. He's like, I'm going to do a post because I really like them. And I said, I don't know if I want you to call them the Yoppsicle. He said, you absolutely need to call these the Yoppsicle. I'm not changing the name. So once he put that out there, I was like, I'm going to have to run with it.
I think it had to be called that. I think it's absolutely brilliant. We're buying them like crazy over here, right? I mean,
a lot of them are going out the door just about every day now. It's crazy. I wake up to orders every morning.
Tim got a big shipment in of European machines, and so I texted our lead tech, and he said, "Finally, you're having real people on instead of content creators." I was like, "Oh, because he's so excited that I was interviewing you, David."
Oh, well, thanks. Tell him thank you.
Here is the machines that we have put on Yoppsicles just this month. I think we put them on the Kiss that I put the vertical on here. So these have Yoppsicles. This is a German Kiss with the different S's.
Okay.
If you can see that, this was made specifically for Germany because they can't have the SS type of S.
I remember that, yeah.
And then if I go here, maybe, nah. Well, right behind me, I'm sorry, gentlemen. Right behind me is Cosmic Princess. And Cosmic Princess is a stern from Australia that we put on the Yoppsicles on. And then we put it on Sonic Gamatron, Lost World, Trident, and BMX, Freefall, and the new Sonic Gamatron. Oh, I already said Gamatron.
Wow. Yeah, y'all have gone through some Yoppsicles, and thank you. I really appreciate it. And in as much as I enjoy selling them, for me, it's also a kind of a legacy thing because after I'm gone, there's going to be the little bitty name Yoppsicle and a whole lot of machines out there. And to me, that's just really, really cool.
David, we've had no problems with them when we put them in. They just look great.
Well, thank you.
So, thank you so much for doing that, and keep selling them, and we're going to keep buying them because Tim bought a bunch of machines from Europe, and we're going to Yoppsicle the hell out of them. So
well, go for it, and I have got no shortage of boxes of Yoppsicles at the house. So as many as you need, just let me know.
Quick question: are you gentlemen going to TPF?
I am.
He never misses.
I've been going every year since 2012.
I went 5 years ago, and I have not been back. But once I kind of got into this whole bar thing,
hard to leave, right?
Yeah. Hold on a second. Hey, can you do me a favor? Can you turn that down? We're being interviewed. No, sorry. It's getting late night, and they want it to be a party.
Let them party. It's totally fine.
We don't want. We have a tournament to run tonight, and we don't want to have a party.
That's true.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to TPF. I love that show. I've been there every year since 2012. The year that it was downtown, and been back ever since.
Well, make sure you stop by. We are having a booth again, and there's something magical going to be in there this year.
Okay.
So that's all I can say. I can't. Little hint there.
Something magical.
It's going to be really good.
Looking forward to it.
I'm pretty excited of that. Gentlemen, what a pleasure. I'm so. Anytime I can talk to someone that is promoting pinball as much as both of you are doing and has such an amazing looking stream, I got to talk to them. And because not only want to pick their brain, not just to rip you off, but also to just let people know we don't get paid for this, right? You have a bar that you make your money off of, but you're not making any money off of the Flipside Memphis stream. I'm not making, maybe you are. I'm not.
So so far we've been doing it for 7 months, 6 months, 8 months, whatever. Yeah. I want to say I've gotten one check for $50 and one for 85. So hey,
we're just maybe twice.
Yeah.
Almost paid for a camera.
I will never ever pay for all the stuff that I put in, but that's not the reason I did it. I did it because I wanted our stream to be something a little different, but I looked at it this way. So if you look at the equipment spent, right, it's about the same price as buying an LE for everything, right? So you can get one LE pinball machine, or you can do all this, and with some sweat equity. Don't get me wrong. You got to do a little work, but I think this will retain more players than an LE. It's a single LE.
Yeah.
Right. So to me, this is a no-brainer.
Well,
Right?
you sold me. I just need you to call my wife, Janine, and let her know how important this is that I keep on.
Well, I'll tell you,
You're a good
there's a
salesman.
guy there, there's a guy in Atlanta that said, "Hey, I need you to explain to me how you did it." I said, "I'll tell you what, I'm not going to just send you an email and tell you how I did it, but if you will come to Flipside and play in a Tuesday night tournament, I will show you everything." So I make that same offer. If you want to know exactly, if you want to see everything firsthand and know how we did it, and I put this out to anyone, come join us on a Tuesday night. We'll put you in the booth. I'll show you how it's all wired in and how it's all set up, and then you can take that knowledge away with you.
And some Saturdays. We're trying to get some more Saturdays.
Yeah, we're trying
going.
to do some Saturday
Right.
stuff too.
Yes,
But I know you were saying you're. No, go ahead.
No, we do Saturdays, and they're great events. But we do 4Xs, and they start at 1:00, and sometimes we're there till 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
But they're good players. What are you going to do?
Exactly.
Yeah. We have the same problems.
Yeah, I mean, well, Scott's 500th in the world. You're 1,000th in the world. I'm 2,200, so I'll be commentating when I come on a Tuesday much quicker than than the two of you.
We will put you right in the booth, Jamie.
I'll go right in
here.
It'd be an honor to have you.
Oh gosh, but that's where I really belong, guys. I mean, that's really where I belong. I love competitive pinball. I was a very good golfer before I injured my shoulder, and I just went, you know what? I'm going to play pinball. And I'm not very good, but I love it. I really love it, and I love the community. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's just we're very, very lucky. We have a strict no a-hole policy here at the Wormhole, and it is very enforceable. And we welcome everyone from any background here. And the rule is when you step through these doors, you're not banging machines because they're not yours. And you're going to treat everyone with respect. And it's been phenomenal.
It's really not that hard.
It's really not hard. But
really not
we've
that
already
hard.
had to kick a couple people out because
So have I. I had to.
They just can't do it. And God bless them. Gentlemen, thank you so much. I do want to invite you, since you were kind enough to invite me, David and Scott, I do want to invite you in 2025. Our museum is opening up, where we're going to have about 125 pinball machines. They bought, I think it's 13,000 square foot building that is going to be unbelievable in downtown Houston. We're really trying to make Houston a mecca for pinball. And, when opening night comes, we're going to make a big event of it. And if any chance you could drive down or fly in, we would love it.
Yeah, I think that would be excellent. And if you're going to do all that, I hope you're planning on having some really big tournaments there eventually.
Well, we're going to try to shoot for some, not only, I want to have a major. I mean, we have a major tournament.
That's where I was going with that.
Because here's the deal, David. We have a tournament here that we have 64 people for every year called the Bayou Bash. And it's a Halloween costume party called the Bayou Bash. And it is not only a ball, but we get the best players in Texas. And now if we can go over there and make it 120 players, let's make it a major. The Bayou Bash in October should be a major.
Yeah.
Sounds
That's
good.
what we're hoping for, right? Get Scott and David down here and let's go.
Let's do it.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you so much. What an amazing for anyone not following Flipside Memphis, you're making a mistake. Please go to Twitch, follow them. And do you guys put your videos on demand on YouTube as well, or?
We got them all saved. I haven't done it yet. Eventually, I'm going to make us a YouTube channel, and I will upload all of them. So they will all be
play pinball, right? This sounds like an 18, 19-year-old job that they should be doing for you.
We're trying to survive 9.5 more days to get to the state championship.
Yeah, we got.
No, you don't need to do this now. Do this later. This is a much later job. But good luck in the state championship. I will be watching. We're going to have TVs up with all of them around, from D82 to Flipside Memphis to us. I think we start at 10 a.m. Central Time. What time are you guys starting?
1:00 p.m. Central Time.
Okay, great. Well, you'll be on the big TV. We're going to be switching from Twitch channel to Twitch channel. So, Glenn, thank you again for hooking me up with these two great gentlemen. Really beautiful setup and even better bar. It just looks so beautiful. I can't wait to visit that.
Well, thank you, Jamie. And also, before we jump off, good luck to our B division Tournament of Champions tonight. I hope that should be really good. And thanks again to Scott, this guy right here, man. I couldn't do it without him.
Thank you.
For sure.
Well, you got to have a wingman, right? I mean, you got to.
Scott is my wingman.
Yeah, you got to have a great wingman. I've got Donovan, and he's been phenomenal for me too. So, gentlemen, pleasure. I really, really appreciate your time.
Thanks, Jamie.
Have a great one, man.
You too, sir.